Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for tuning in today. First up, I am taking you inside of WBCL Radio to learn about something exciting they are launching today. Then it's Money Monday with Foster Financial, and we're discussing how to make your cash work for you. And later, I'm speaking with Invested to learn about FAFSA applications, the deadline, and how college students can apply. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by WBCL Radio. WBCL Radio is a Christian radio station that is family friendly and commercial free. As you can see, there's a live broadcast happening behind me, but today we're going to learn about their Share 2025 week and how you can participate. Let's do it. Joining me now is Tiffany Sorgen, who is the promotions director here at WBCL Radio. Hi, Tiffany.
Well, hello.
How's it going?
Good. Glad to have you here today.
Yes, I'm excited to be here because you all have something exciting taking place at the top of the year.
Yes.
But before we get into it, let's talk about WBCL and really the impact that your station has in this community.
Yeah, so WBCL is a family-friendly, commercial-free Christian radio station. We are headquartered here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but we have a network of frequencies in Northwest Ohio, West Central Ohio, South Central Michigan, and Northeast Indiana. So there's 10 frequencies total. And we're different than other radio stations just by the nature of what we do. So we are a ministry. And the cool thing about a radio ministry is that we can go where other ministries can't go. So if you think about it, in people's cars, in their homes, in a hospital bed with a shut-in, we're able to be there for them 24/7, day and night. They can turn on the radio and be encouraged by the message that they hear through God's redemptive love and truth. And it is our message that makes us different. The other thing that's really cool about WBCL is that we're live and local, and we're talking about the things that our local community really cares about. And we have live DJs on from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., DJ teams actually, which is kind of unique for radio these days. And all day long, we're taking listeners' calls. And we're interacting with our listeners through our fun topics of the day, and then also like taking prayer requests, praying for them live on the air, and just doing daily life with them. And our listeners are really the focal point of our shows. They're really the focal point of what we do. And it's more than a one-way broadcast media. It really is a two-way relationship and conversation with our listeners. And we just really feel that the ministry we have here is just very unique.
It is, and I love that. And there's also so much diversity because under the umbrella, you have so many different genres of Christian music, personalities on air. So really something for everyone. I love having you all on when I get in my car, my drive to work and back, because it's that inspiration, like you said. It's testimonies, right? It's encouragement, and then it's good music along with it. And so right now, you all are in your Share 2025. That is launching very soon for a week. So tell me all about Share 2025.
So WBCL is 100% listener supported. So unlike public radio, we don't get any funding from the government. And Taylor University does own our broadcast license, but we don't receive funding from Taylor University. So 1 week a year, we raise our entire operating budget in 1 week.
Really? And
our goal for Share 2025 is $1,770,000. And it is our listeners who 100% support the station. And the cool thing about Share Week is listeners will call in with their testimonies about the way that WBCL is really making an impact in their lives. And it is those like Me Too moments that the listeners are sharing with each other that spurs each other on to give. And it's so encouraging to us as a staff just to hear how God is really using WBCL in our community to make a really big kingdom impact. So if you want to give to Share 2025, we have people in the phone room from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. You can call 260-469-3550, or it's always safe and easy to give online at WBCL.org. But I would encourage you to listen during this week because we always say, give us a week, and we guarantee it will make a positive difference in your life, and you will hear life-changing stories about God, what God is doing in our community through WBCL.
I love that so much. And people can just really participate, like you said. They can call and they can share their own journey or testimony, and then also call to donate.
Yes.
Right? So that's the thing. It's like you can do both. And then just over the years, as you all have had this share, can you share maybe an impactful story that you've heard or something that really have changed your life?
Well, there's so many. It's hard to just pick one, but some of the ones I love the most are the bus drivers that will turn WBCL on in their bus, and then the kids will come to them afterwards and say, thank you for putting WBCL on. That's what my mom listens to at home, and it makes me feel safe when I'm there on your bus. And you think about all those tiny little ears listening to that music and being encouraged on their drive to and from school. So that's one of the ones that really stands out to me, but there really are so many, and I do encourage you to tune in and listen because you'll be encouraged by it as well.
Yes. So as you all are collecting this money, it's really because you impact the community in so many different ways. So can you share ways that WBCL really plays a part in the community?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things that we do is we bring about 10 Christian concerts to the community every year, and it really provides a family-friendly, unique entertainment option to the community, and we love doing that. The other thing that we do is we like to partner with other nonprofits in the area and bring awareness to their causes and to what they're doing. And we choose a different one to partner with every summer. Last summer we partnered with LifeWise Academy, and between June and August, our listeners raised $73,000 for LifeWise Academy. And if you're not familiar with what LifeWise Academy does, they bring Bible education to public school students during school hours. And they're really launching a lot of programs in the Fort Wayne area, so it was really cool to be able to partner with a very like-minded ministry, and then also to bring awareness to what they're doing in our community. But really, overall, it's the message. It's what we do on air that makes the biggest difference. And when people listen, their lives are transformed. And when one individual is transformed, their family becomes healthier. And when a family becomes healthier, the community does become healthier as a whole. So I think what we're doing on the airwaves is definitely our biggest impact.
It is, because you're right. The more good that people put inside of them is what they're going to give to other people.
The more that comes out, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
So excited.
It's been great, yes.
And if you would like to learn more about WBCL and their upcoming Share 2025 week, well, we'll have their phone number listed below. You can share your story and also donate. And I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by WBCL Radio.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
Enjoy fun in the sun on Living Local 15. Become a tourist in your own city. Visit your favorite spots and have some fun with me. From kayaking to rappelling off a building, I show you ways to have an adventure in Northeast Indiana every weekday morning at 9 on Wayne 15. So join me, Jessica Williams, for Living Local 15.
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams weekdays at 9 on Wayne 15 and catch past episodes on wayne.com.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Money Monday with Foster Financial, and today we're going to talk about how to make your money work for you. And joining me is Caleb Doan, their Vice President. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Trying to stay warm.
Yeah, for sure.
It is cold outside, but to be expected.
Yeah.
But today we're going to talk about something that I think that everyone is interested in, which is how to make their money work for them. And we are at the top of the year. And what ways are you recommending today that people start to evaluate?
Yeah. So I mean, we're in January. People are going to start getting those tax documents in the mail. One of those that you'll probably get is a 1099 from your bank, right? So all the cash that you have in your checking and savings account, it's earning a little bit of an interest rate. And so typically you'll get a 1099. It'll tell you how much interest you made in 2024, and then you have to pay taxes on that, of course. I'm willing to bet that for most people, the 1099 that they get from their checking and savings account is going to be a little underwhelming, like it typically is, right? So you see, you got $50,000, in savings and checking there, and you end up getting the 1099, and it's got, less than $100 of interest or whatever it is in there. And you hear things in the news about how interest rates are higher, banks are charging more for mortgages and all of that. And people are wondering, how can I actually take advantage of it?
Right. Okay, so someone gets that 1099 in the mail. What should they do with it?
Yeah, so obviously, give it to your CPA, pay taxes on it. For this next year, though, think about, are there any other ways where I can take advantage of the higher interest rates if I'm clearly not getting that in my checking and savings accounts? And so we've talked before about some different strategies. Today, I'll talk about after-tax brokerage accounts.
Okay.
So these are essentially accounts that you fund with after-tax dollars. So it's just like your money in your checking and savings account. You open up an after-tax brokerage account, and it can be an individual account or a joint account or even a trust account, just like a checking or savings account can be. You'd transfer money from your checking account over, and then you have the option, and what we do with our clients is we choose, okay, how conservative or how growth-oriented do we want this account to be? Okay. And so, if people are on that conservative side, it could just be invested in ultra short duration bonds that are giving you a nice interest rate, like 4 to 5% right now.
Okay, got it. So from this, with putting it into the brokerage account, you then take it to put it into a bond or something like that. So the money is, what am I trying to say, circulated through that account. What's the difference between putting it into a brokerage account and putting it into a savings account? Yeah,
so honestly, from a tax perspective, there's not much of a difference.
Okay.
They're taxed almost exactly the same between a brokerage account and a savings account. The nice thing about the brokerage account is that you have a lot of options. It could still sit in cash just like it would in a checking or savings account, but you also have the added benefit of being invested in bonds, being invested in stocks, being invested in ETFs or mutual funds. There's just a lot of flexibility that you have there. And so, on that conservative side of the spectrum, you could be invested in those ultra short duration bond funds that maybe get you right now 4 to 5% interest. Or someone might say, hey, I've seen what the stock market did over the past couple of years. Yeah. Maybe I want to pursue some even higher growth there. And so we could have some of the account invested in stocks as well.
Okay, got it. And then is there a certain qualifier that someone would need to have, or can anyone have a brokerage account?
Yeah, so the nice thing with brokerage accounts, there are way fewer rules than there are with retirement accounts like Roth IRAs or 401ks. Yeah. With those accounts, Roth IRAs and 401ks, you have to have earned income for them. You have to keep your income below a certain threshold even to contribute to like Roth IRAs, for example. There's certain contribution limits that you have to stay under every single year. There's a lot of rules with them. With the after-tax brokerage account, there are way fewer rules. Okay. So you can contribute to this if you're working or retired, single account, joint account, and you could theoretically deposit, 50 grand into the account, leave it in cash, turn around a day later, pull out the 50 grand, and there's no tax implications whatsoever. Right.
Okay, what about age though? Is this one of those retirement age range accounts?
No.
70 and a half in 3 days?
Right, exactly. No, you could be 21 years old, you could be 100 years old, and you could open up a joint brokerage account. So it's nice that there are a lot fewer rules. And like I said, with some of those retirement accounts, you can only contribute a certain amount. We talked about, the new 401k limits a couple weeks ago. Right. With these after-tax brokerage accounts, you could put $1 million in there in a year if you wanted, just like you could do that in your checking or savings account.
And then what about a minimum? So there's no max of what you can put, but do you have to start with something in particular?
No, there's no minimum. You could open up the account and put 1 penny in the account if you wanted to. Now, different advisors might have different minimums that they kind of establish for clients, but it's up to you how much you want to put into it. So it's a very flexible type of account, and it can be a really great one to explore, especially if you get that 1099 and it's kind of underwhelming.
Okay, and then the last thing, I'm sure people are thinking, where do I go to open up a brokerage account? Like, is it walking into a bank and opening it like a savings account, or do you have to have it through an investment firm?
So if you're more of a do-it-yourself type of investor, you can log on to Charles Schwab or Fidelity or all these different options and open up a brokerage account right there. If you want an advisor to be able to help you with this, someone who's a fiduciary, who's kind of acting in your best interest and investing it for you, that's when you'd call up an advisor and say, hey, I want some help with this. I'm not really sure, how or what to invest in. Can you help me out? And that's exactly where we like to step in for our clients.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And as you heard it from Caleb, just give him a call and say, hey, Caleb, I need your help. Where do I start? And he is there to assist you with the entire Foster Financial team. We'll have their phone number listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
New data shows that Hoosiers continue to value education beyond high school, but need more help understanding how to pay for college and avoid student loans. So here to break it all down for us is Bill Wozniak, who is the Vice President of Communications and Student Services at Invested. Hello, Bill.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. So, now is the perfect time for students and parents to start figuring out their college future and figuring out how it's best to use the resources to attend college without getting too far into loan debt. So talk to me about this current study that went on and what type of information students are really seeking right now.
So first of all, we do an annual survey, and once again this year, over 80%, 83% of Hoosiers surveyed found value in education beyond high school. It's always been above 80%. It continues to stay there. So people see the value. But when we got into a lot of the other questions about understanding how to pay for it, nervousness about student loan debt, not sure how to fill out the forms, that's where a lot of families said they have questions and they have concerns. And that was a real important point, and that's one of the sort of general findings of the survey we just completed.
Yes, and FAFSA is such a great free resource, but I think it can feel overwhelming. I mean, by the time you start looking at the paperwork and start figuring out, if you qualify and all of those things. So can you break down what FAFSA is as that free resource to parents?
So FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. That's the name FAFSA. But it's so much more than federal student aid. It's for federal student aid, it's for state aid, it's for aid from the institutions themselves. So it really is the form that is the gateway to all types of aid that helps students limit student loan debt. So that form has to be filed. Over the years, it's gotten a real bad rap, and maybe at times accordingly. So people really are nervous about that form. It has gotten better. It is infinitely better than it was a year ago, but people still have some questions, and so we always want to make sure that people know they have resources and help available, but they have to get that form filed.
Right. And are there certain qualifiers, like is that an income-based form if you make a certain lesser amount in income, or can anyone apply regardless of the household finances?
Absolutely. Everyone should apply because all the different types of aid, think of the federal Pell Grant, think of the 21st Century Scholars Grant in Indiana, the O'Bannon Grant here in Indiana. Each grant, each item, each type of aid has their own rules, has their own levels to be eligible. And then you have institutional aid from the schools, which is a whole nother issue as well. So the form is the key to getting it filed, and then let's sort out all the different levels and ways and types of aid that you can get after you get that form filed.
So do you all help through your organization with filling out that form and also doing research about other financial aid that's available to the college student?
All of the above. We always want families to know all the different types of aid that are out there, but if they don't fill out the form, then it's sort of lost. So we make sure that people know what the types of aid are, how the different types of aid work, and then we make sure that we get them across the finish line with the form accurately as well, so that it all sort of comes together and families can make the best decisions possible to eliminate student loan debt or limit student loan debt in other cases.
Right. And so I read that your survey also shows that 60% of Hoosiers aren't aware of the Frank O'Bannon grant. So what is that grant?
Absolutely. So we talked about the Pell, we talked about the 21st Century Scholar Grant, and we talked about the different levels. So somebody can fill out the FAFSA and not be eligible for the Pell Grant. Somebody can fill out the FAFSA and the family is not eligible, let's say, for the 21st Century Scholars Program. But the O'Bannon Grant has some higher limits, and so the footprint of those eligible is increased. So this is, again, a situation where they might not get Pell, they might not be a 21st Century Scholar family, but they can get the O'Bannon grant, right? And so that's the key. These different grants with their different levels, and families can be eligible for all or some, and you sort that all out after you file the FAFSA.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bill, for your knowledge and information today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us again. We really appreciate it.
Yes. And if you would like more information about Invested and to truly learn all about their resources, then we will have their website listed below. And now is the time to prepare because the deadline is approaching in early 2025. And I'll see you after the break.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
Join me, Jessica Williams, on Living Local 15 every weekday morning at 9 on WANE 15.
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams on WANE 15. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.